The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Warren Buffett. In a world that sprints, Warren Buffett walks. While most wait to the blaring of alarms and a flood of notifications, Buffett opens his eyes not because he must but because he chooses to. Because the quiet mind makes the loudest decisions. It's 5:45 a.m. in Omaha, Nebraska. Inside a modest house he's lived in for over 60 years, Buffett begins his day. No alarms, no emails, no rush, just silence. Just time, unfolding slowly, like the markets he's studied for a lifetime. He doesn't check his phone, he doesn't scan the headlines. Because Buffett's most valuable asset isn't his billions, it's his clarity. And clarity doesn't survive distraction. So before the noise begins, before headlines scream and tickers scroll, he leans into the silence. He opens the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, and corporate filings. He's read over 80,000 of them. While other investors chase prices, Buffett searches for patterns. While others react, he reflects. Over 90% of his investment decisions are made in the early hours, not from urgency, but from peace. "I've never made a good decision in a hurry," he once said, and he meant it. In an age obsessed with speed, Buffett built his fortune by slowing down. Then, he drives alone. Not in a chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce, but in a Cadillac XTS. He heads to the same McDonald's he's visited for decades. He has 3 breakfast options. If the market's down, he buys the $2.95 meal. If it's up, he spends $3.17. Today the market is green, so he gets the bacon, egg, and cheese. He drops exact change into a plastic cup in his car. No wallet, no second thought. Because routine, for him, isn't just comfort, it's a filter. A way to conserve mental energy for what truly matters. He sips cherry Coke on the way to the office, not for sweetness, but for symbolism. He owns Coca-Cola stock. Since 1988, the company has paid Berkshire Hathaway over $700 million in dividends. That's not just a beverage, that's discipline. He doesn't drink it because he craves sugar. He drinks it because it reminds him of ownership of long-term bets that pay long-term dividends. His office is as unassuming as his lifestyle. No stock tickers, no trading floor buzz, no ringing phones. Just a simple desk, books, and silence. Because silence sharpens thinking. He reads, not social media, not breaking news. He reads 500 pages a day, financial reports, biographies, market histories. Before buying Apple stock in 2016, he read over 700 pages. He doesn't read for entertainment. He reads for insight, for signals hidden in plain sight. If you're not reading, he says, you're falling behind. No back-to-back meetings. No brainstorming sessions, no hustle culture. Just uninterrupted time to think. Because Buffett doesn't believe in constant motion, he believes in rational inactivity. He once went 18 months without making a single trade, not out of fear, but out of patience. Because real money is made in waiting. He skipped Tesla, skipped Amazon, skipped Nvidia. Not because he didn't believe in them, but because he didn't understand them. And if he doesn't understand it, he doesn't buy it. Risk, he says, comes from not knowing what you're doing. So he waits, he filters, he thinks. While the world screams do something, he embraces stillness. Because boredom is not a weakness, it's a moat. And when he does speak, he speaks with Charlie. For over 40 years, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger sharpened each other's thinking. Not through gossip, not through forecasts, but through principles, mental models, and the long view. They didn't always agree. In fact, they preferred disagreement. If two people agree on everything, Buffett said, one of them is unnecessary. When Charlie passed away in 2023, Buffett said, I lost my rational mirror. But their thousands of unrecorded conversations built something far greater than friendship, a compass for decision-making, a shield against noise. Even now, Buffett says he still hears Charlie's voice in the silence. He doesn't network over lunch. He doesn't dine with senators or CEOs. He eats alone, sometimes with a book, sometimes with an annual report, sometimes with just his thoughts. In 2023, one charity lunch with Buffett was auctioned for over $19 million. But when asked if it was worth it, he replied, only if you sit silently and listen. Because good decisions don't come from noise, they come from distance, from stillness. He never checks stock prices after 3 p.m. Why? Because that's when emotion peaks. That's when panic sets in. That's when people chase. When FOMO hits, Buffett closes his book early to preserve his clarity. In 2008, as Lehman Brothers collapsed and markets spiraled, he didn't panic. He invested $5 billion into Bank of America. Not because he predicted a rebound, but because the margin of safety was finally there. He's not in the business of predicting the future. He's in the business of being ready for it. Evenings are for history. 1929, 1973, 1987, 2000, 2008. He reads about crashes, wars, failed CEOs, Napoleon, Lincoln. Not to dwell, but to learn. Not to judge, but to avoid mistakes he hasn't made yet. There is nothing new under the sun, he says. Not even market stupidity. He sleeps at 10:30 p.m., no phone in the room. No late-night interviews, no financial TV, because deep rest protects sound judgment. He doesn't grind late, he recharges. Sleep well, he says, so you don't panic at 9 a.m. And the next day, it repeats, not out of monotony but mastery. Habits are his leverage. He doesn't chase time. He compounds it slowly, quietly, consistently. Financial freedom didn't come from bold moves. It came from boring consistency. From showing up the same way for 60 years, from living below his means, from thinking longer, deeper, and quieter than anyone else. You only need 20 good decisions to get rich, he said. But you need to avoid 20,000 bad ones to stay rich. So he lives slow, he thinks deep, and he invests as if he only has 20 shots in life. If this resonated with you, I'll be sharing more timeless lessons like this. Feel free to subscribe and thank you for reading.